You don't need to squat 200 kilos as a soccer player, but it sure would be helpful if you could single leg squat 150 kilos. We're gonna go into the amount of strength that soccer players need to be successful, and we're gonna start right now. Soccer players are lean, and because of them being so lean, they're also extremely springy. They're fast individual athletes. And despite what couch potato commentators can say, they can benefit from lifting weights. They can benefit from getting stronger and improving their dynamic trunk control and improving their unilateral strength. And with unilateral strength, we have to focus on single leg squats. And of course, we're gonna be using our single leg roller and pad available at garagestrength.com. And we're gonna provide those benchmark numbers that elite soccer players can use. When we developed Christian Sloat, an all-state soccer player who went on to play at Penn State and was all Big Ten, we really focused on single leg squats. The reason being is that this helped with Christian's speed. This helped him with his cutting ability. This helped him improve his athleticism out on the pitch. And one of the big factors that we noticed was that if we're doing 5 sets of 3 or 5 sets of 4 on each leg, he's gonna improve that trunk control. He's gonna have better eye-foot coordination, and he's gonna be able to make better calculations while running extraordinarily fast. If we're in the high school level, a good number to build towards is 90 kilos or about 200 pounds for a set of 3 on each leg. If we're at the collegiate level, that could be building towards that benchmark about 100 kilos or 220 on each leg for 3 reps. And then if you're gonna be in the professional level, that could be upwards of 110 kilos or 242 pounds on each leg for 3 reps. But keep in mind, this doesn't mean you're immediately gonna be the best or that the best are that strong. It's just a benchmark to build towards to make yourself a better soccer player. We're giving away 1 free Swole shirt to the swollest soccer player, and all you have to do is 1, comment down below, 2, make sure that all of your channel notifications are active to Garage Strength, and 3, show up to our Tuesday public live to figure out, did you win this Swole shirt? Open skilled sports require athletes to be able to run very rapidly, to cut at various degrees at various speeds, to juke individuals out, to have tremendous coordination with their feet, with their hands, with their eyes. All of these things are very important in an open skilled sport. In a sport like soccer, we need chaos coordination. Chaos coordination might be something where we do a hide and jump into a hurdle hop. Boom! So we have to react as quickly as possible. We have to be able to train through various degrees through the lens of what's gonna optimize that soccer player's performance. And that means that we should have benchmarks in their training that are based around absolute strength, that are based around technical coordination movements, but most importantly, even based around plyometric movements and even endurance tests. So we've gotta use all of those lenses to create those benchmarks that then can optimize that normal average kid to see if we can take them to that next level based off of the training that we're gonna be doing inside of the gym. So what is a technical coordination movement? And typically technical coordination exercises are gonna be along the lines of Olympic weightlifting. So a snatch, a clean, a jerk, doing a variation along those lines. And what we've seen is that this can have a really, really positive impact on open skilled athletes. So someone like a soccer player is gonna benefit tremendously from learning how to move weight very, very quickly. We do this inside of Peak Strength with our soccer-based program. So if you go to Peak Strength and you have over 700 different exercises to choose from, we've got to think through how can we actually properly periodize this to get the best response from our athletes. And that's where this next soccer-based benchmark is going to come into play. And we're going to use a very unique technical coordination movement that's going to optimize that soccer player's performance. So that technical coordination movement that we love for soccer is going to be a 2-box clean. And the reason being is that 1, the starting position is going to be in that athletic position, okay? We're here, right? Think about volleyball players, think about linebackers, think about even wrestlers. They're typically going to be in that quarter squat position. Now, another big factor is that we can discuss impulse expression. That means moving things as quickly as possible in a short range of motion. That's what the 2-box does. So Yvonne here is gonna demonstrate how to move this as quickly as possible. Let's go, Yvonne. Give me one more. Good. So there's a large amount of force that he has to execute and express in a short period of time. That time is based off of the distance from the 2 boxes raising that barbell. If we can pull very quickly, catch very tightly, that's going to improve our dynamic trunk control. And the benchmarks that we want to work towards for that high school based athlete might be a 70 to 80K power clean from 2 boxes. For somebody who wants to play at the collegiate level, that might look like 80 to 90 kilos for that soccer player. And if we want to get to that professional level, that might look like 90 to 105 kilos for elite world-class soccer players coming off that 2 box. But most importantly, if you need this inside of your training, you can head over to Peak Strength and download Peak Strength today and then select that soccer-based training program to help improve your overall performance. But being strong in a single effort isn't going to cut it in regards to soccer-based performance. We've got to be able to run very, very quickly, then stop, scan the field, and then sprint again, and then maybe set up a juke or a cut, and then set up a nice pass, and then stop again. And this is a repeated effort of high performance. So we have to focus on how can we develop power endurance? How can we develop that sustained endurance? And Yvonne's gonna demonstrate here. We're gonna try to get 25 reps of power cleans done within 12 minutes. So Yvonne's gonna demonstrate a double. Faster, Yvonne. Why are you slow? It's only 100 kilos. Good. Now, we're gonna set a timer. He's gonna rest for 60 seconds. So this is gonna be on the minute. We're gonna do a double, rest 60 seconds. He's gonna do another double, and we're gonna do that for 12 straight minutes. So for 12 straight minutes, we're executing high speed movements with some serious strength levels while maintaining that power endurance. And the numbers that we want to see here are going to be at the high school level doing a 70 to 75K power clean. When we get to the collegiate level, that's where we want to see that number get a little bit higher, let's say around 85 to 90 kilos. And then at the professional level, that might look like 90 to 95 kilos over that 12 minutes. Go, Yvonne. Good. So on the minute cleans are very, very important for soccer players. And if we have those simple benchmarks, review those numbers and use those numbers to improve your overall performance out on the pitch. So research has shown that elite level soccer players actually run about 10 kilometers a game. So absolute strength can matter, technical coordination improvements matter, but if they're running 10 kilometers a game, which is about, 6+ miles, how can we actually improve their overall long-term classical endurance? And that's where this next benchmark comes into play. We've got to focus on how can we improve that endurance and how can we then lead to those improved bouts so that we can raise the baseline of power output when we're under a lot of fatigue. And a lot of people might look at that and say, well, endurance-based training, should that really be factored into strength and conditioning? But absolutely, and one argument I'd make is the heart, it's an involuntary muscle. So we have to actually train that. And one capacity that we can look through is improving aerobic capacity. So improving that baseline aerobic energy system will lead to better power output and better support of the alactic glycolytic system. And that in turn will lead to better power output late in the game. So one thing we can do is fan bike work, get on a rower, do some long, slow distance. The benchmarks that we would look at then would say, test our athletes, our soccer players here, with that 5K run. So if we can have a nice baseline for a 5-kilometer run, if we see a high school player that can run a 5K in about 22 minutes, that's pretty strong, that's pretty good. And if they are a little bit higher, then we need to work on their classical endurance and contribute to that 5K run. That might mean they have to do a little bit more endurance work. If they're below that 22-minute mark, we might be able to focus more on some of the other strength movements. When we're at that collegiate level, that might look more like 19 minutes or 18.5 to 19 minutes on running that 5K. And then when they get to the professional level, it would be below that 18-minute mark for a 5K benchmark. So if we can take that information, improve their overall sustained endurance, improve their classical endurance, that's going to be the baseline that supports their overall power output from the 2-box cleans, from the single leg squats, from that even on the minute clean. Now all of a sudden we have that soccer player who's more explosive later on in the match, and that's when they're going to be able to take advantage of those hard cuts. That's when they're going to be able to take advantage of their opponents who tend to be a little bit more fatigued and they aren't able to express as much power late in the game. That's the big factor here. And if you guys need help with your programming, you don't understand how you could improve something like endurance-based training, power output, power endurance, head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store, the Apple iOS Store, where we're gonna have over 700 different exercises periodized together to optimize your performance out on the pitch. Because remember, freaks, if you wanna become a champion, you've always gotta cultivate your power. Peace.